It is. Morning, Cooper. Oh, 7:30. January 9th, 7:30. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Hey, Keelman. Here. Dudek here. Trustee here. Duncan.
Here.
Berenger. Okay, I'm gonna do comments from the community first, and then I'll do the invitees. Is there any comments from the community for items not on the agenda?
The item that's on your agenda says Richmond Schools tax collection. I'm from East China School.
That's not you.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Then I would like to make a comment.
Well, you're on here.
Where am I?
Right at the
So-
top, under the facilitator, invitee.
All right, so there were no comments from the community. So next we're gonna go to our invitees. We have East China School Superintendent to talk about millage renewal.
Thank you. Sorry, I misread your agenda.
That's okay.
Good evening. My name is Suzanne Sabula. I'm the superintendent for East China School District. Thank you for giving me a moment tonight to just share some information on the upcoming February 27th operating mills renewal that East China Schools has on the ballot. This is a renewal of our 18 mills, the operating mills that the state of Michigan requires all school districts in Michigan to come out to their voters for in order for us to receive our full funding. This levy does not affect homeowners. It is second homes, vacant properties, businesses, and farmland. So it's interesting, this was a function of Proposal A that they require us to come out to all of our voting public to get the approval for it, but it may not affect you if you don't have any of those things, because it doesn't affect those who have just primary residences. So it's kind of a strange thing that you have to vote on something that may or may not affect you, but that is the way that it's set up. So in the state of Michigan, you hear about Count Day, where we count all of our students in a school district. We submit that number, it's verified, and then that's how we receive our funding. For East China School District, we receive $9,620 per student, but we do not receive that full funding if these 18 mills don't pass. So it is interesting how, you'll hear, the advertising for school funding, when they say they give a per pupil allowance, yes, they do, but we have to receive this approval from our voters before that. Now, on the ballot, it will say it's a renewal. Every 9 years, East China School District comes out and asks for this renewal of our 18 mills. But the ballot will say 19 mills, and that's there as a protection against a Headley rollback in case the property values increase greater than the rate of inflation or 5%. That means we still can collect the full 18, but we can never collect more than 18. So that's the hard and fast line. State doesn't let us collect more than that. As long as we collect that, the state we will receive our full funding from MDE. So what this means to East China School District, it's about $14 million, which is 30% of our budget. So this is an operating budget that we're talking about. So 85% of our budget is payroll. So if we were needing to reduce by, people say, well, what happens if this doesn't pass? Well, we would have to reduce by 30% what we do in our operating, which is people. And, for sure, that is not a direction we want to head in. And as I mentioned earlier, this is required by all school districts. So if you go out to if you go to Richmond or if you go to Port Huron, we all have to do the same thing. Port Huron just renewed theirs in August. We're all required to do it. You can renew it up to 20 years. East China has done 9 years, we just roll it over every 9 years. And because this is a presidential primary election, the cost is minimal, if not nil, depending on how it pans out. So one of the concerns at one of our precincts was, you know, with the cost, what was it gonna cost the district to do this? And because of the primary election, it won't cost very much, if anything at all. So I do have some pamphlets that is okay to approach
When is this vote?
to 27th, February 27th of 2024, coming up here. You're welcome. You're welcome.
So how much do you think, DTE pays? A lot,
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that we don't have to well, operating mills are the same, it's 18 mills. Now, if you're talking bond levies, like we passed our bond in 2020, we're lucky to have DTE in our school district because they carry a lot of that. We don't have to levy as much mills to raise as much money, so yeah, it is a nice thing. And speaking of which, if I could just take one more minute, the last time I was here, I was talking to you about the bond. Since now bond funds or bond dollars we can only use for renovations and construction of new buildings. The mills that I'm here tonight to talk about is the operating revenue that comes with so two totally different pots of money. But for our bond, I just wanted to give a quick rundown of what we've been able to do in our school district because that passed. We have completely updated all of the technology throughout the school district. Before the bond passed, we were operating on a Windows 2010 platform. So we're completely updated. We're a Chromebook or a Chrome Google platform now. All of our students have one-to-one Chromebooks, all new teaching technology, the infrastructure is completely updated. We built 10 classrooms at the Meisner location, the Innovation Center classrooms, where we have an alternative education program. We have our engineering classes and AP classes and some of our classes that are shared between Marine City and St. Clair. We had a new road that we built from our stadium out to King, which has helped us with the flow on that campus. We renovated the bathrooms and concession stands and locker rooms at the stadium. We built new tennis courts at the Marine City campus. Bell River Elementary over this past summer has all new parking lot and lights. They were in such poor shape, we pulled that ahead and got that done before the building renovations. For the Marine City campus, over the summer, they had 10 classrooms that were renovated. We have counseling and administration offices that were completely redone and they've moved into those. The cafeteria and media center will be open January 22nd. That was a huge renovation. And they have new parking lot and lights on the east side of the school. St. Clair campus, a new gym addition was built and just opened recently. We're excited to have that done. St. Clair is becoming a 612 campus, just like Marine City. And that will happen in the 25-26 school year. This is 24. We're in 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 school year. A new parking lot and lights on the east side of the St. Clair campus and their student parking lot was redone. We now have 2 safety and security directors in our district, which means they work for us. They work for East China School District. We have an SRO, which works for Marine City Police Department, but is in our schools. We have social workers at every one of our schools. Before the bond passed, we had 3. So we've been able to use some of our funding to do that. We used our ESSER funding, the money that we received from the state over the COVID crisis, to purchase curriculum materials throughout the district. We were very careful that we didn't want to incur legacy costs. So we knew in education, we don't get a lot of extra money. So when this extra money came through during COVID, we knew it was going to be a one-time deal. And so we decided to use it for one-time purchases. And we have interventionists now for math and English language arts for reading at all of our elementary and middle schools. So we have a math and an ELA interventionist at every one of our schools. Their function is if a student is struggling, could be general ed, special ed, if a student is struggling, they pull them out, work with them on those specific topics and get them back in the classroom as quickly as we can. So that's a quick synopsis. I appreciate you letting me take the time because I don't get a chance to brag about the district much. And
Can
so
I ask one quick question? If you're doing 6 through 12, what's gonna happen to the school on Yankee Road?
is it gonna become an elementary? So East China School District, over a decade plus, we lose 120 students a year. Meaning graduating more than we have coming in. And I think, I've been in this job 7 years now, but when I was first sharing this information with people that we were in a decline, I think they thought it was just an anomaly. It'll come back, we're gonna get, students back. But the 3 population studies that we did, they've been spot on. It's almost kind of eerie how close they are with our kindergarten enrollment and what they said it was going to be. So right now, our biggest class is our 10th graders. So we have 3 more years of losing, a deficit at the beginning of the year. So if you take $9,620, which is what we received per student, multiply that by 120, that's how much less funding we've had each year for over 10 years now. But we're close to our new normal. And we've sold 3 school buildings, the old middle school, downtown St. Clair was sold, and then Eddy has been sold, and Gearing has been sold. We're still in Gearing Elementary, but we're leasing it. So as soon as we can move over to that school on Yankee for the elementary, then we'll be done with those 3 properties, which is great because we're right sizing our square footage to our student population, so. We're getting there, a couple more years left to go, but it's exciting. These renovations, these classrooms are beautiful, and they get, I'm proud that our students get to be in spaces like this, so. Can I answer any questions about the operating mills or our bond work or anything to do with the district? Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time and letting me brag a little bit.
Thank you.
Yep.
And next we have, Mr. James Downs.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jim Downey. I'm an attorney from the city of Algonac. I'm here at Bruce's request because I understand that there might be a move among members of the board to engage local counsel to handle the township's legal affairs. Presently, I believe council is located on the west side of the state. This year marked my 31st year in law practice, and I primarily function as a municipal attorney representing cities and townships around the county. Clay Township, City of Algonac, City of St. Clair, Pinocchio Township, City of Marine City. As I said, I think I would be able to provide you well and reasoned legal services based on my experience. Bruce and I had a chance to meet last month to discuss the job and some broad strokes. And I think that the issues that you're facing are issues that I'm familiar with. One of the things that recommends the job to me is that your code enforcement officer, Tracy Kalett, is a member of the City of Algonac administration. I work very closely with Tracy. He's the building official. And I mentioned earlier, I'm currently and have been for 17 years, the attorney in Algonac. Tracy and I do a lot of things together, try cases, do code enforcement stuff. We're in, district court, circuit court, and it appears as though that might be something that's a topic here in the township. So I'm glad to answer any questions that you have, and if it's your wish, I look forward to serving as your attorney.
Have you been successful dealing with code enforcement stuff with Tracy?
I have. I don't mean to be glib, but I think that on code enforcement issues, the municipal governments tend to be the Harlem Globetrotters, and the violators tend to be the Washington Generals. It's a very high rate of success. I think the way that I come to these issues is that there's a buildup. It's sort of a progressive, letters being written, maybe there's communication, if there's an attorney involved, you're trying to get some consensus so that the problem can just be resolved amicably. But reluctantly, if you have to go to court on something, the judges locally tend to understand that you're here not of your own volition, but because you're not getting any cooperation on the other side. And I think that sort of informs the court's approach to these kinds of issues, and generally the results are favorable. Yes.
So in working with him, you guide him through the system to make sure that it happens correctly?
Yes, I would describe it as almost having a template. Now, obviously, there's gonna be circumstances where a template might not work. But ordinarily, it would begin with some sort of a citation or a letter. Please correct, nothing happens, a second letter goes out. If a second letter is unsuccessful, I become involved. I understand you haven't answered this letter or that letter. We need to have some progress on this. If there's no response, all of a sudden there's gonna be a citation, that's put to the court, or maybe it's a complaint that goes to the circuit court, and then we're off on that process.
So you could help us fill out the way we're doing it now and fill in the blanks and tighten it up so that we have I want it to end up being a situation that flows right through every time.
I think that would be my goal, and just because I feel more comfortable having a set process.
Right, because I don't want it to be a building department decision to, well, we'll do this guy, but we're not gonna do that guy, and like that. I wanna do the same thing for every
It
person.
has to be consistent, because frankly, one of the things that I've experienced in doing this for the decades that I have is that the first objection you're gonna get, or the first defense that you're gonna get is, I'm being targeted. I'm being treated unfairly.
Sure.
And we, approach the court and say, listen, judge, this is the same instance in every case. Sometimes it's only taken a letter, sometimes it's taken two, but now we're here and we're not treating this individual or these individuals any differently. This is just the process. And because we have the history of doing it a certain way, the court knows we're not making it up. It's just part of our process. So I think that goes a long way, because really, the substance of the allegation in almost every instance is provably true. They haven't mowed the lawn. They're running a illegal operation without a permit or whatever it is.
Right.
They want to argue procedure, I'm being discriminated against because, I'm on a corner, or, I'm new to the community, or whatever it might be. I'm being treated differently than other people. I can point to 5 different properties that are doing the same thing I am, Well, no, we're handling everything the same here. And that just undermines those procedural arguments that I find the violators tend to rely on.
So I have a question. When you say you're doing the procedures, okay, so we get a complaint, a letter gets sent out. What do you suggest a time frame? 30 days, and if nothing's corrected, we send another letter? I feel like we have to have some sort of set number of days or something, because I feel like things fall by the wayside. Or if there's a complaint, for example, Tracy talked to somebody and he said, that's not in compliance, you're gonna have to go to the ZBA. The guy came and got the paperwork, didn't fill them out or anything, so now what? It's like, he thinks now it's okay because he picked up the paperwork, we're just gonna let it slide.
Right, like a half measure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I would encourage Tracy to do, if he's not doing it right now, is I would be copied on everything. So I'm even though I'm not involved, I'm at least aware. And it's a really good question. What is the time frame? I think it just depends. I don't know that it would ever be more than 30 days. I think in the communities I've represented and continue to represent, it's usually 14 to 21 days. Seems like a reasonable request. I mean, again, if it's in the winter time and the complaint is you haven't painted your garage, maybe that's when we can pull off until April, so there has to be some reasonableness on our part as well. But I would think typically if it's, maybe 14 days, we're gonna come back and review this. And if it hasn't been corrected, we'll give you another 14 days. And now we're at a month. But it would vary. I mean, I would rely on Tracy, or whoever the official is, to give me his or her expertise on what they think the project would, what would it take to be successfully completed. And again, what will happen oftentimes is in the best cases, the person might come and say, geez, I'm aware of this, but I actually need 60 days to get it done. Okay, well, if we can formalize that and have an agreement, we'll give you the 60 days. But by golly, if it's not less than 60 days, we've got to take some enforcement action. So I think the key is to be flexible and to be reasonable in your approach, because I think that always comes back to benefit the township if it ever comes to litigation. Because the thing that we want to tell the judge or the jury is if we're to be criticized for anything, we've given these folks enough breaks. You know, we've been slow to act. And I think that's the better position to be in.
Any other questions?
No. No.
Okay, well, thanks for, we'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
No, there was no special communications, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Approval of minutes from December 12th meeting.
Any input? You guys all good? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll support.
Good.
Yes.
Kristen, yes. Duncan,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Berenger,
Yes.
carried. Treasurer report.
Do you want me to bring up the budget adjustment now or when we do the check register?
Why is there 2 bills or 3 bills in with your?
It's the cemetery, it was for the cemetery and that was where it was on that bill. So that was where it went over budget for the cemetery
And then
budget.
Casco rental,
No, that's,
that's. in-
oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was-
And that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what those were for?
Pardon?
that
That's
was-
why there was doubles in there?
Yeah, I try to give information why I'm putting over budget, you know, so yeah.
Just assumed they were doubles.
Oh, yeah, no. Yep, it's because we did so much maintenance in the cemetery from the trees falling, so it went super over budget. I went a little bit above and beyond, I think 500 or what, I have to look at it, just in case if there's, a burial. So we can, pay for one more burial.
Just called.
You didn't, yeah, so hopefully it'll be good till the end of the fiscal year. If not, then we'll have to make another adjustment. Or if a tree falls down, so.
And so when you do an adjustment, it reflects in the amended budget,
I did not do it yet.
but it does,
Yeah,
correct?
it will do it in the amended, yep,
We've
correct.
been pretty good this year. on-
We have been really good this year, yeah, yeah. Very good.
May not say that. one.
I know, right?
Elections.
I know, right? Well, we got 3 months, so. But yeah, otherwise, everything's pretty normal, so.
Make a motion to approve or to file the treasury report.
So you're gonna make your adjustment after this, correct?
Yes, and that's the tentative one, but then I don't put then it goes into the system. Once I put approved, I'll put the approved date and I'll give you guys a copy next
So are
meeting
we
too.
going to make a motion to approve that adjustment in this or when we do the check?
When we do the check register. you said.
So we could do it right after
Okay.
this or whatever,
All
or
right.
before your check
So there was a
register, you know.
motion to file, is there a second?
I'll second.
Here's 50, yes. Berenger.
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes,
Dudek.
Yes.
Carried. Check register. My question on the check register is, why is there hardly any bills in here?
I don't know, but when we're talking about that,
There's usually like double.
I know. Well, part of it is, and I brought it with me, I got this yesterday from Marcotte. I got their garbage bill and it's not in here.
Right, it's not in there.
So I don't know if you want me to pay it so that like next month there's not two, or do you want me to just hold on to it? Normally they send it the first week before I do the check register.
But our
Or-
meeting was early too,
Yeah.
on top of
Or
it, yeah.
do we want to make them post audit? Because it's,
I don't know. Are they post audit now?
no, they are not, because Phoebe asked me
I
that.
was
We
gonna say
did
that
not
too. I
make
thought
them.
they were.
I know it went through all that and then I don't know if it just was flowing after that, so we didn't do
Yeah,
it.
because
I
we
don't,
had
I
that
don't
one
know.
month where things got messed
Yeah.
up. But, I wonder,
Did it?
Yeah, because of the
Because it was all
crowd.
behind. I
Yeah,
thought we did.
no, I looked on my thing and I didn't have it. We made the postage one, the postage meter post audit after we had every finalized everyone, because I was getting a late fee on that.
I don't see a problem putting it as post audit, we can't really,
Well, we know we have to pay it
Yeah,
every month,
yeah.
and it's usually, the only thing that fluctuates is the,
it
Fuel.
did change this month
oh,
though.
that went to the new
Yes,
fee.
because it does have the new fee and the new parcel count.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
How many,
they're
How
both,
much did the parcel count change?
4, it's whatever that, it's same as the paper that I showed, it's 1380. So I confirmed and they had the prices right, and it moved to 1366 per parcel, yeah. Per house, yeah.
so yeah, I know it doesn't look like there's much here, but I think it's a lot of it too, is we haven't done a lot of road work. That's usually a big one.
And
But
last
anyway.
month was bigger because of December too.
Oh, we had
you
all the
know.
paychecks
Yeah,
last.
so it
month,
was more
yeah.
last month because
Whole planning
that
commission.
in comparison.
But there's not other bills missing, you don't think?
Everything that I've done, when I paid out.
The,
It looks like pretty much everything.
Sumco I see, right there, Pam.
You know, DTE is here,
Unitel,
credit card,
Comcast,
Comcast,
all on there.
Looks like it's all there pretty much.
yeah,
I forget.
Yep.
That's what
Gibbles Webster.
trash.
Yeah, that is, if you think about it, you add
Assessment.
another 20,000. That's what the trash is.
oh wow, it is really low.
I know, I
Wow.
actually went in and, remember when you
Wow.
brought me the, Kelly, Tim?
Oh, the Tim Kelly, yeah,
Tim Ke-
or Kelly Tim,
Tim,
Kelly Tim, yeah,
yeah,
so the assessor thing is there.
Kelly, Tim and Tim.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
as I said.
I can't think of any other.
Do you think
oh.
we should make trash one, post audit? Somebody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to add the Marcotte bill,
Just the garbage.
the garbage,
You want to just say the garbage?
the garbage
Just the
fees, yeah, the garbage, yep. Invoice from Marcotte to
Garbage invoice.
add it to the post audit.
I'll support.
Garbage.
Gilman?
Yes.
Duncan?
Yes.
Berger?
Yes.
Judith?
yes.
Christie, yes. Billy? Ordinance report.
Oh, we need to approve the
I
check.
do that outside.
Opens.
Well, and then what did we decide? Should I add this? Should I pay this one now?
Pay it whenever you want, because it's.
Oh, because now it's post audit, doesn't matter, you're right. Okay,
Before we get a late bill.
All
yeah,
right, I'll make a motion to approve the check register, check number 4380.
What is it?
4380
Yeah.
to 4420. And then the electronics of 82 to 86. And the total of 28,787 and 33 cents.
Or.
And then I need it for the budget too.
Yes. Gilman?
Yes.
Berenger?
yes,
Judith?
Yes,
Duncan,
Yes.
carried. And now you wanna do your,
The budget.
adjustment?
Yes. Make a motion to add $500 to the cemetery account. Repairs and the repairs and maintenance. And to deduct it from the roads and bridges contractual.
I'll support.
Any questions? You there?
Yes,
Furniture?
Yes.
Christine, yes. Duncan?
Yes.
Yeoman? Yes.
Did you second it?
Carried.
Yes.
Now ordinance report, right?
Yes.
Yes. Pretty much all looks like 30 more days.
Yeah, has he been working?
Well, I know he said something about Brian yesterday to me, but I didn't know how that affected him working here. And I didn't see under new business, I did write one up for that house that's falling down on my road, because Bruce and I remember. And the guy came in yesterday, who says he's going to demolish it.
Good. Did you get a demo from it?
I don't know, he was talking with Tracy, so I don't know if he pulled a permit, but Tracy called me up and he said that house, and the guy said he went and looked at it, he said there's a tree growing up in the middle of the
Is
house.
that the one where the relatives are living there?
Next door, yeah.
So what about that house?
Well, that house, they're still in there, so
That one's in good shape? Fair?
it's halfway decent, yeah.
Mediocre?
Pardon?
Mediocre?
Mediocre is right. And they got some, pretty crummy buildings, but at least that one, which is falling down, I swear if it actually toppled, it might topple right into the road because it was built so close to the road. He said he was going to take it down.
All right. The first one, 8491. Says as of this writing, township is awaiting reply from the township attorney. Township attorney thinks that it's over. I asked him about it. He told me he thought it was over. So I don't know where the disconnect is there.
Yeah, because this says the last, well, when was the last time you talked to the attorney?
I thought he was putting a license on it.
Uh,
Didn't you say that?
On license on the vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah, that he brought registrations and to show that
Exactly.
everything was licensed. Yep. And Angie gave me some website to go to, right?
and I remember, yeah,
Did
did
I
it cause
get-
problems or
Yeah.
something?
But I finally got
Oh, you
it
did
signed
finally
up,
get it? Oh,
but I don't see where you do, process anything
oh,
on
really?
there. It's just a state thing. It's just a state website. And I don't know.
He said that way you could check and see.
Tracy
He
referred
said
it.
that I could run license plates to
Right.
see if they're valid
Right,
and who the correct owner was.
right.
But I don't think we can do that. I think police have to do that.
You know,
But I went on that site and looked all around after I got access to it, and I don't see where to look up license plates on there.
he told us that. What did he tell us? Somebody he knew was using that.
And he gave me that guy's phone number too, and I called that guy. And that guy hasn't used it either. He's still trying to figure it out.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
So. I don't know what the situation is there.
And for the, next one. Gratiot, why aren't we just ticketing, ticket, you know?
I mean,
'Cause
that
it-
one's going on.
We
that one's
already-
Going on 2 years.
We
aren't
already ticketed them. To me, if it's after a ticket, and I know it shouldn't be ticket, you know what I mean? Like,
I
like
agree.
why are we starting
That's
over?
my concern is if he deals with Tracy in another municipality. Is he gonna do what we want him to do, or is he gonna do what Tracy wants to do?
I'll do what we want to do.
Yeah,
I
I
want-
understand what you're saying, Stan, but I think do you think maybe Bruce, he would be able to like explain to Tracy that Tracy should be doing what we want to do?
Well, that's what I was trying to ask him, and he
Yeah.
sounded like he was answering correctly,
Right,
that we need to have a solid system, and sounds like he's, tighten up the system that we have and make sure that it works, and make him follow how it's supposed to go. I think that we could take it out of his hands about how often he's gonna do or what he's gonna do next. And just make it follow the,
I thought we had that all figured out already.
well, we have a basic flow chart that we do. But when it gets to, it goes to court, then it kind of like flails in the wind, and where do we go from here? And I don't think Tracy knows what to do next.
I think 90 days is so long. To me,
It
it
is.
should be like 30, 14, you know, or
I-
something like
I
that, you know, like.
I like what he said, 14.
You know, I understand if you don't do it right
Yeah.
away, you know, but to
Because-
me, it's like 90 is just long,
This guy-
you know, at
This
least.
guy here in Gratiot next to the smokehouse, that was 2 years ago this spring it'll be, that he couldn't do anything because it was muddy. I think it is 2 years now.
And then after that, ticket, obviously.
And
you
I
know,
was-
like,
And I was just talking to Tracy about, after they go to court and they're still not doing it. We need to write another ticket, and then another 15 days later, write them another. ticket, and
Exactly.
Another 15
Yeah.
days later, write them another ticket,
exactly.
and then prosecute all of that at the same time.
Cause I mean, to pay one fee and then start the ball roll, you know, some
and-
people have
and
money
it's
to
like-
throw away, you
And
know,
it's like,
easily,
okay,
you
if the
know.
ticket's $250, well, the guy's probably thinking, well, $250, now they're
Yeah.
off my back for another year.
Exactly, exactly.
That's a small price to pay.
And I don't think that we have an exact procedure of, that says this is how it's
I
gotta
thought
go.
we had a little.
We have a
chart.
flow
we
chart.
I thought you had a
do.
chart.
We do have a flow chart.
Okay.
And the flow chart only goes through they didn't answer the letter, you go to the second letter, go to the third letter. Then it's supposed to come to the board, and the board decides, or no, you write them a ticket at the end of the third letter, and then it goes to district court, and that's where it ends, except for now that it's supposed to go to the board, and the board decides what to do. So it kind of, like I said, it kind of doesn't really have a finish to it.
I guess we need to come up with some solution, like if nothing's resolved, we like the thing on Big Hand. I mean, we finally got some resolution, because I see what you're saying. If we go through all these steps and they go to court and they say do it and they don't do it, then what, we just stop?
Right, and that's what I was asking him about. Could he help us develop something to make a solid system? Because right now, it just dumps off at the other end, and nobody really knows where to go from there.
Yeah.
Or it's not in black and white about how to finish off the situation. And then it's left open to my interpretation or his interpretation or Tracy's, and we don't want that.
I would really like to have a printout from BSNA of what the complaints are. Cause there's some in here that I've been aware of way in the past, and they're not on here.
Like
You
the one, that house on my road.
Yeah, there's a couple, you know, and just because, you know, it's in the system, how do we, it's not in
Do you have the
here.
address on that one? No. That's not, that's 2284.
What
It's right
road,
below
that's
one.
trash.
It would be Ellsworth.
Oh, Ellsworth, I'm thinking Werner. Wrong side.
Cause there's even some barns from a couple years ago that I said they're building a barn, and the barn's complete and they've never pulled a permit. And it was 2 years ago. And I asked Justin about it, and it's just sitting in the system. And they're done already. You know, so, and and I had to fill out a complaint form, and it's like, but then I don't know what happens afterwards, you know, and it's like, am I supposed to babysit this, you know, and it's like, I don't drive around the township and,
Well, I guess what frustrates me too is I feel like Brett about that whole thing on short road, because when I bring up something and you were witness yesterday when I talked to him and he got short with me because I said, what's going on with this guy on Gratiot with the greenhouse? Well, he's got bigger fish to fry. Well, that's not the answer, because if we had a procedure, and I was glad you said that about the $7,000, because he hasn't charged anybody $7,000 bond for anything. He's made his own. And I looked that resolution up that we did, but it's like Brett said it how many times, and he's like, well, there's worse things. I agree there are worse things, but that's not the point.
No, the
Yeah,
point is,
it's a
he's skirting
violation.
the system and it's a violation, and it's a clear violation that we all know about.
Yeah.
His job was to act on it,
And then.
and he just completely removes it.
And that's.
and that's
yeah.
what I'm saying, print the BSNA thing,
Yeah.
because that should be all in the system of all the complaints, you know?
And that-
Instead of a man-made, like,
Right.
I can't mess with these numbers, like for the treasurer, so. I mean, I can, but like to a point, obviously,
Like, I was
but
saying,
still,
like-
So I don't know,
That guy
you know.
going to the ZBA, it's like, so they were, short road, they went and got another building permits. That means nothing.
I don't know.
But
They're
I don't think
registered to
so.
vote there.
but I don't think the permit's been even issued yet on that. Well, I don't think it has.
Yeah, and
And
no,
in
you're
fact-
right, he hasn't,
fact-
because she's trying to use the
I think it's just
blueprints
an
from the old.
application fee they paid.
But she's trying to use the blueprints from the old builder,
And,
and he
and
won't accept.
when
those.
I asked him about that, he said that the board has to decide on that one. Well, we've already decided. I thought.
Holy smokes, we
Several
decided like in
times.
Yeah,
September.
And we thought that
August.
too. We're like, should we make a motion? And then Stan's like, we already made the motion.
Yeah.
Like, we made it 2 months ago. I was like, okay,
Matter of fact,
well.
it was the one he called in on. Or was he
Yes.
here? No, he called. He was on the meeting. We told him to do it. I told him to do it then.
Yep.
And we voted that meeting.
I don't know what to say. I know it's this is a hard thing, but I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know.
we can't have an enforcement officer picking and choosing what cases he wants
Yeah.
to pursue and which ones he doesn't.
When you get, it's the next page. It's the third page. 2475 Bauman. Going up here, Bauman and Gratiot.
Mhm.
The last note was from 12/18. Note that there's no changes to the property. Ticket for non-compliance was drafted and will be submitted. It's all cleared up. There hasn't been anything there for 30 days, probably.
And that's what,
Which page?
it's actually the fourth or
The fourth.
2475?
Yeah,
He has moved a
It's the
lot
little-
of junk out of there,
garage meat packer place that they were gonna
Yeah.
turn into a house.
yeah. But a lot of the stuff is gone.
Gone. The cars are gone, the trailer's
Yeah.
gone, the jet skis are gone.
Okay,
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
but
Yeah.
it's not changed.
I went by one day, I'm like, holy smokes, did we kick them out or something? Cause it's empty. Or we put it all inside. Either way, you can't
Right.
see it.
See, I'm getting irritated because there's another thing that I complained about and I have not seen anything on it. They have 2 of those train things in there. They built. Mike would know about it too, and I haven't heard, it's not on here, and it's been about 6 months at least.
Well, this-
What is
And they have the train cart things in there, and they built a jungle gym. They built like all this stuff
I
that
don't know.
it's it's right there on Well Center Road, the corner of Well Center and Jaeger. The
Hmm.
really pretty house.
Well, and it's,
I can't picture.
And he came in and gave a sob story, but it's been 6 months at least. And it's accumulated more. And so why isn't that on here? It should be like, that's why it's like every little thing should be on here. He wants me to fill out a complaint form, but why don't I see it on here then,
Right.
I mean, that's like, I could think of 3 situations already that I've written a complaint form and it's not on
And
here,
this one, the next one under Bauman, that Gratiot one, that's the one that's next to Amels. And he said they started cleaning up, well, BB's, they're not even getting the letters or the mail because it's being returned. There's no
Mhm.
forwarding address. It's just a fluke that they finally moved that.
That's
They
awesome.
moved that green Volkswagen that's
That's
been there
awesome.
for like 5 years. But somebody's living in there because when I was going to midnight mass, They were watching TV on Christmas Eve night. Somebody was in there watching TV.
I don't know.
So I don't know how the BSNA works in that regard
Well,
about,
we used to get print offs.
Yeah, we did.
I know they're not like the prettiest, but we used to get print offs. Where you would just see.
I think
each-
I could fiddle around in there and look
Yeah,
at it, see.
just to see every single thing in the system.
because that would be good to see all the,
Mhm.
Yep,
and that way you can question them, because if they fall
Exactly.
off, you forget. And-
exactly.
And I know that.
And I just thought of that one, like, while I was reading this, like, oh, wait, you know,
Well, we'll have to,
and I understand there's a lot of situations here, but I don't know, but we're supposedly Brian's supposed to be doing this. I don't,
Well, here's something that I was thinking about. So I brought it up several times about liquor inspections, because he said that takes so much of the money, because I think he's paying Brian like $75 for every liquor inspection, which we paid Roland like $75 to do all 5. Is there any benefit to keeping the township doing the liquor inspections? Because remember, we talked about it at one time, Phoebe, that because the state used to do it, or don't they do it anymore?
we would just have to, we already renewed ours a little bit ago. After we kind of questioned it,
Yeah.
then we renewed it. I don't know how long it is.
Yeah.
I'd have to look.
I just wonder if we
I don't know.
took that liquor inspection, which he made, the way he explained it to me, that was eating up all of that ordinance money. Because he's paying him under that, from that ordinance money. I just feel like, or if we could get somebody else to do the liquor inspections completely. Because when I pay him, I pay him $600 for being the building official, $600 for being the zoning official, $450 for the ordinance, and $50 for liquor. And yet, when I questioned that, he said, well, I gotta pay him $75 every time he does a liquor inspection. So when I said that, 5 times 75, that's most of the 500. I just think, I just wonder if we took that part out of there, if it would give him more payroll money.
I don't
I
know.
don't know, I just,
That's between him and Brian,
I know.
so that's something that's kind of,
but I'm just saying, if he's paying Brian, say $400 a month to do stuff, and most of it's being used for liquor inspections, then Brian doesn't have, I mean, he's not gonna work for free. I don't know, it's frustrating, because I feel like we're not accomplishing, the only thing I feel good about is the one on Big Hand.
Yeah, 80% of what's on here, we've been talking about for over a year.
You're right.
You know, and then I brought it up too, this last minute. You know, maybe you guys in the office get it, but when Brett and I show up and the enforcement officers, right at the meeting, we gotta sit here and read through this. We have no time to research any of this. You have no idea what's going on with a lot of these. And it's just like here, this is supposed to be in the packet, when we get our packets for the meeting. I've mentioned it before and I'm gonna mention it again, and this is the last time that I am gonna accept this at the meeting.
we have said that before. If we didn't receive it in a timely manner, they didn't like get paid, you know, remember we talked about something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to put, each department had to do some type.
I
of
thought we
report,
had that
and
in
they
a
didn't-
contract. If you don't supply this in a timely manner when it's due. I mean, we're paying them for this to be late.
Yeah, I think Stan, you're right. I think it was part of the contract that said he was going to provide a.
Because
monthly
Dan, we don't get it any earlier than you, but Bruce gets it late too, and that's the problem. So it's like, it's just,
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not that I don't ask for it.
right, and it's,
mhm.
and here we go. Again, he's doing what he wants.
Each fee required to meeting and give them the work order. I don't think it's overreach. I just don't think they would show up.
And we did make a motion for that. That he's supposed to show up and give us an enforcement report.
You probably have to write in the contract that it would be enforceable.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in his contract.
When does his contract expire?
It expires when we say it expires.
Right.
Oh, so there's no time,
He's at will.
no time.
Huh? He's at will,
Right.
but we said we would revisit it in a year, and I think.
Oh, it's
been a
been over a year, yeah.
Required over to
Oh.
I think both would be good, because then we would be here all day too, you know, if it's. If we're not a little
Well,
informed.
it's good to have it in writing too.
Exactly, that too. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I would prefer that one of them came to the meeting and discussed it, because I honestly kind of feel like I'm on the spot over this every month, and it's not me.
Right.
Well, I don't.
Well, let's tell them, if we take the liquor control away from them, will that free up enough monies for more enforcement time? And for him or Brian to come to the meeting, so we can go discuss these issues? So if they're on board, if they hear it from us and we make a motion and we vote on it, next day, they should be taking action on it, not writing these letters and telling us we'll do a drive-by. This is ridiculous.
Normally every month tell him what we talked about.
Every
I
month,
figured you did.
every month I discuss
I did.
what happened at the last meeting and what the board's talking about, and I don't know where the ones go that fall off the list. I don't know, I don't see that they're getting fixed. I don't know why these same ones are staying on here this long, but I have the same questions. And, like, I get answers like, well, we're waiting on the attorney. Well, I called the attorney and he said, no, you're not waiting on us. That one was done. This Richard Wall one on Gratiot next to the smokehouse. He told me that he was writing more tickets. I don't see where that happened. The second ticket will be issued. I don't know how many times we gotta do an inspection. It should be a ticket every time you inspect it now. Because we've already been to court. If there's other enforcement officers that anybody knows of that could work, I'd gladly interview.
Yeah, because right here, on 10/23, a judgment on the property. Why are we going all the way till January 28th, 90 days later before another ticket is written?
Well, should we be making motions on each of these, or it's, because I know you said for the procedure, some of it was board action, but should we be saying, make a ticket for this, make a ticket for that, should we be saying that, or should that be already obvious?
It should be
know,
already out.
Yeah, and say, so should we say for the smokehouse one, let's write a ticket tomorrow, or next time he's in?
Any of these that are not complied since court ought to be getting ticket every couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Every time you go to inspect. Again, oh, wow, I'm over here again and nothing changed, write him another ticket.
And again, like I.
And even I talked to Jim about that when I interviewed him that one day, and he said that it would be better to go into court with.
Multiple tickets.
We wrote 3 letters and we've issued 5 tickets.
Yeah, yeah.
And now they potentially owe a couple thousand or $3,000. He said $250 is nothing. People are gonna pay that $250 and then just go home and say, I don't care.
Mhm.
But if they got 5 tickets and the first one's $250, the next one's $400, and then every one after that's $500, well.
How do we change the ticket fees? Is that gonna have to be, is that something that we had,
It should
Right,
be
like
in
a
our, it should be in our ordinance
Okay.
that we can do that.
because that's a good idea to up the ticket.
Yeah.
amount.
I thought we did
It's in the ordinance. I'm
To
pretty
up
sure.
the amount?
Yeah, like
that.
we're
I
all
thought
doing
we
this.
had it, I thought we had it stair step where you could do 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and they issued a ticket. And then there was like a shorter time frame. They got a second ticket, and then it started to escalate higher as it went on. I thought we did that.
And I'm pretty
Don't
sure it's in the
remember.
ordinance
Don't
too.
remember. Well, makes sense.
I thought we did because of this whole issue.
Well,
Well, I'll make a second motion to issue a ticket to the Gratiot and Short property that has the car hauler and the camper parked on empty property.
And I will support.
And a ticket, not a drive-by and verify it's still parked there. Cause I see it about 5 times a week when I drive by there. Yep, still there.
They're like me with the greenhouse. Still there.
So what's with the greenhouse? What's that one?
He put a greenhouse up, you know where Verbrugge's horse farm is? And they bought the house next door and he built a greenhouse right in front of his house. And you're not supposed to build in front of your house. And then he told Tracy it was a movable chicken coop. And I said, Tracy, it's not movable. And he goes, no, he told me it was. And I said, go out there and look at it. It's not movable. And now he's got the hoops and he's got the plastic and he's got the doors. And he told Tracy there's nowhere else he can put it, except that he owns that whole piece of property on the side there that Mr. Verbrugge used to run the horses on, because that was his sister's. So that's that guy's too. So he has plenty of places to put it. And then Tracy said, well, you can go to the ZBA, but it's not like he doesn't have another place to put it. And so the guy came in and got the paperwork from Mike like a month ago. And then I asked him about it.
and that's the problem, because now it's kind of like, oh, and then you forget, you know,
No, and see,
that's
and
the problem.
I'm turning into Brett.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but that's the thing, you know, it's something
That
that,
irritated me.
yeah.
Well, yeah, come
So
on.
Fielding to issue ticket to Gratiot and Short property.
Time
for-
period, do you want
for
to say
camper
immediately?
And car hauler.
You know, do you want to say
Is that
like,
correct?
put a time period or something?
For illegal storage of camper and car hauler.
Do you want to say immediately or by this stat, you know?
For a date.
Yeah, say, look for, do a time period for sure,
When does he normally in the office?
Mondays.
Monday, so we'll say by, to be issued on 1/15, which is next Monday,
1:15, yeah.
unless he takes Martin Luther King Day.
Issue.
I don't know. Seriously,
I know, unless he takes that day off.
that's a big possibility.
Yeah, there is a possibility.
That is a big possibility. And they now close the
January
schools now.
15th.
Correct.
Your kids' schools closed?
Yeah, they closed it this year. First year that they closed
that
it,
is, yeah.
yeah. Well. So you still want 1:15?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay,
Do there, second.
Mhm.
Okay, Berenger,
Yes.
Duncan,
yes.
Christie. Will. Dudek,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
okay, try her again.
And what happens if he doesn't?
But if you stop paying, writing this check every month, he'll issue that ticket.
Can we put that in a motion?
Cause you know, I feel like it's my child, like you gotta do repercussion.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's like-
If he-
it's like
Can we put it in there that his pay will be withheld?
Well, let me tell you, his issue, every time I bring this up, he goes, well, Brett never wrote a complaint. Tell Brett to write a complaint if he's got a problem.
But it doesn't matter, cause I've written multiple complaints and it doesn't matter.
I know.
So, you know, so that is a
Scribble on
backup
piece of
for
paper
that.
Before I leave.
That's what he says every time, though.
Okay, yeah, that's what he told me, so that, and I.
It's funny, he had a verbal complaint when he was on that call.
I
Heard all about it.
thought we also, it should be anonymous and that shouldn't be required, that he knows.
We did vote to.
Yeah, we
That we would look at.
Because otherwise he can create enemies. And I think he's already done that, where he'll go out and tell them that it was this guy and this guy on the board.
I guarantee you.
Yes. I don't want that.
I don't want that.
You put
either.
my name on it.
If we make a decision as a board here and it passes,
To me, that should just trump it, you
Yeah.
know? It's like.
yes, don't
To
give
me,
him
you
the
wanna-
option to go out and play
It's
good
in our
cop, bad
minutes,
cop.
you know, it's. So are you putting a repercussion or is that against the law? you know,
Yeah, I
to
wonder
do,
if we-
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
That could be like a
might-
labor
He
law,
does-
you
he does
know?
have a contract.
So.
Well, that's dereliction of duty. If he doesn't take the action that we want that ticket wrote. How could that? We gotta have some kind of.
I agree, I agree. I just know that there's always,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, so I don't know the laws that well for that, you know.
So what do you think, Bruce?
What a repercussion would be?
Well, do you think we should maybe verify
Here,
that that's,
there's no real repercussion be right, because he's a contract employee, so labor law doesn't really kick into effect. But I'm sure if he starts getting his paycheck late, he's gonna start screaming that he didn't get it. Oops. Gosh, kind of like you writing that ticket for
Well,
crash it and short.
I just, I'll
Slipped my
blame
mind.
Angie. Angie didn't give it to you? She writes the checks.
Yeah, I don't know. There's really not a whole lot you can do other than pump them.
Right, I don't know why there has to be the bumping heads on it.
It's-
It should
it's not.
be Just do it.
Go do it. Be different if we were asking him to do something that was
Well, I don't-
Unethical or.
outside the
I
ordinance.
honestly don't know
Yeah.
why he cares,
He knows the guy.
you know,
I
just.
guarantee he knows that guy. That's why some of them get marked up and some of them don't. He makes friends with certain people, kind of like the winery. Oh, it's okay. He's a nice guy. He's got a kid.
I think we need to definitely work on that procedure and make sure that we tighten it all up and,
shorten up the time frame?
Yeah.
This.
Yeah,
Sex file.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
revise the whole thing.
Yeah,
But I mean, I can't babysit every case, or I might as
No, I-
well do that job myself.
yeah. And I
No, we're
know,
paying somebody to do this. He's not doing it. Gotta lay down the law.
and I noticed whenever I ask a question about something that we talked about and he's not doing, he gets real defensive and real belligerent. And like, if he's, I don't know if he's listening today, but he usually comes in the Monday after the meeting and he's mad at me. Because I just feel like we're paying him a lot of money. We paid no other building
Yep.
official and zoning ever got this much money.
Agreed.
And it's not that he's not a capable person, but I just I don't understand the bumping heads. I don't understand
And he knows.
what's the problem with just doing it.
Yeah, and when you talk to him, he knows, I mean, I always feel like, yeah, he makes sense, everything he says, like about building or zoning or anything, but I don't, sometimes I feel like he's following his own set of rules and not our township rules.
Because when he came in, it was a great deal and he was gonna revamp it all for us. Then he grabbed a little piece of this, he grabbed a little piece of that, and he grabbed a little piece of this. And now he's in control of everything.
Right, and there
And
is,
now he's
no-
got you.
and there's no checks and balances.
No, and now he's got you. And then we redid the building permit fees and all that stuff. So he's getting paid double, triple what it used to be.
Mhm.
And if he's getting double and triple what he used to be getting paid, I don't want to hear it's because, you know, he's doing such a great job in the building department. That should roll over a little bit into the other department. But that's not the way he's gonna look at it.
Yeah, I'd just like to see a little more end result and not drag on for months and months and months.
Well, I'd like to see all of this get
Oh,
settled.
oh, I know.
Most of them are so simple. They're not even hard ones on there. Most of them.
I know.
Yeah. He's just kicking the can harder and harder. And he can just write on there, drove by. I mean, yeah, I was out driving around, I saw it, yep, drove by. There we go. Didn't do anything with it at all.
Is he charging mileage for all these drive-bys?
No, because
No.
We'll write it off.
He's in his own.
But he's a contractor, he does his own.
We'll write it off.
Then it makes you wonder.
oh, yeah.
Well, I know we definitely gotta fix the issue.
I'll make a motion to file the ordinance report.
Second,
I'm just doing it to move on, so. I'll make a motion to move on.
We gotta file it
I
soon.
know, right?
Can't talk all night
I
about it.
know.
I guess we could keep talking on. it. Not gonna fix anything. I'm just curious.
We don't know. We've asked that question before. It's all the unknown.
But here's the thing, we're also dissatisfied. If I second it, chances are the three of you are all gonna vote no anyway. Am I right?
I voted yes last time. I don't know.
You're like, it's your turn.
You voted yes last time? Okay.
All right, well, apparently nobody seconded.
Okay,
so-
I'll second it and then we'll take a vote and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, Lord.
Seems like something so simple.
I know.
This is the bane of my existence every month. Do good.
No,
See,
Berger,
well, sure. Yes.
Gilman,
But
I'll do yes to get it out of here.
Thanks.
I'll do no.
Yeah, I mean, this won't have that much. That's what I figured.
Yes,
Gary,
You could have really thrown a wrench. in
I
it.
know, right? I was thinking that too. I
Been
could have
awesome.
No.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Oh, my God.
no assessor report. Old business. Township attorney review, it's been a year, we hired the out of town guy. It's been a year, we spent a boatload of money. And I don't think we've had much results, especially. On the one particular issue, we spent a lot of money and it's just been a letter writing campaign and talking and talking. In fact, we just had a discussion the other day. And they're talking to me like, well, what are the violations? I mean, do you even know what the violations are? And I'm like, that's your job.
Exactly. I was gonna say, you give them the
That's your job.
information
And
and
he
they
said-
know what to do with it.
How
Yeah.
do you handle these violations? What do you do? I said, we talked to them about it and if they're just gonna dig their heels in and not do nothing, then it's your turn to deal with it. That's how we deal with it. Well, then he's like, well, you seem like you seem like you've lost your interest in this and you don't want to move forward. I'm like, don't put this on me. I've been saying right from the get to deal with this, deal with this, deal with this. And I said, here we are a year later and we're still not dealing with it. I also went over all the expenses with him and said, you know, we're getting nailed on travel expense. Like, I can't even believe. Every single issue, we're getting nailed on travel expenses. And then he said, well, we have a new guy that we're gonna bring into the firm out of Southfield, and so that'll be less travel expense.
What do you mean travel expense?
He
Like-
charges you from Grand Rapids to here.
They charge full rate, like they're on the clock.
Yep.
From Grand Rapids to here
That's a
and
three-
back.
And that's a 3-hour
And
drive.
then they charge.
When are they coming
for
here
being
though?
here.
But when have
Court.
you?
For anytime you gotta go to court, anytime they show up here to talk to us,
Okay.
Plus mileage.
plus mileage.
That's yeah.
I could show it to you, it's bad. And, I feel like we're getting raked over the coals. I think that they're like a big firm and all they care about is billing hours. And our attorney keeps handing us over to his helper people that I don't even know if they're attorneys.
Yeah.
They could be paralegals, they could be just associates, but every time I have to bring a new guy up to speed because that gets turned over to a different one.
Oh, my
It
goodness.
gets turned over to a different one, and
It's like changing doctors. You can tell your whole story every time you go in and you're wasting all your time telling your story.
right, you
Yeah.
tell it to the one at the counter, then you tell it to the one that takes you in the room, then the doctor comes in and you're like,
Yeah, but the lawyer bills you each time.
yeah.
The doctor only bills you for one visit.
Yeah,
So
so.
Do
you
they have
think-
any information that we need to get from them at all? You know, like, cause obviously he's been in contact with, you know,
So if we
people.
were to switch to this new guy, would we be able to get that?
Exactly, yeah.
Be able to get what he's done. so
Like, do
far?
we, yeah,
So in talking with him, he told me that. Mr. Downey that was just here, in talking with, him, he told me that his first order of business would be to contact them. And to tell them he's taking over everything, unless. They had some special reason that they thought they were in the middle of something that they couldn't let go of, and that the board would have to make that decision.
okay.
He said he had no issue taking over any of it where it sat. He thinks that the way it's been getting handled, I mean, we went over the ordinance report. And we went over several of the cases that we have open, just so I could give him some examples. And he thinks it's ridiculous. I mean, he flat out said it was ridiculous that it's taken so long, that any one of these, he was like, there's no way it should take that long. These are all getting dragged out, and we should have a thing where you just keep writing them tickets. And I said, that's what I said. And he said, and he's like, I think we could work together really well, because I do with these judges all the time. And if you go in there with them owing 4 or 5 tickets, the judge is gonna say you gave them, we gave you every chance, and make them pay. And
Are we gonna have just Mr. Downey?
Yeah,
We're not gonna be having any kind of,
Yeah,
I
'cause
would-
that-
you know what I mean?
I would kick them to the curb, the other ones.
No, she.
No,
needs
no,
here
for,
and Keen,
like
Clemens,
helpers, you
Yeah,
know,
there's
like
one
that flat
Oh.
situation.
People on here.
No, he would handle it for
So just
himself.
him specifically, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just so we don't have the same thing that you were just talking about.
So, if we hired him, we wouldn't have to like sign a contract for a year, like you said, we've been a year with this guy,
No.
we can just hire him.
Yep,
I think at this point, if you feel like we're getting no results for a lot of money,
I've lost all faith in them,
I would
And I don't
think.
want,
Thought
I don't
that.
want to use them no more. I've already told them, I refuse to spend that kind of money on dealing with blight issues.
I thought that last month when we saw the bill for,
Yeah, every
Yeah.
month they.
Ken
And that's
Perry.
the other reason.
Yeah, I
And
Route
called
run.
them the next day, I
I
told
could
them,
not believe the bill
I
on that guy.
refused. to
You
take
wrote
that
like
money
4
on-
letters and it was like 8 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What did you do? Seriously, did you review pictures of cars parked in his yard?
Mm,
That should be like a form letter that you stick somebody's name in and an address and you're done.
So, Bruce, that's why our check register is so low. I didn't get a bill from them this month.
Oh,
Well, I think,
well, I
I
put the brakes on
Yeah.
everything.
think I'm gonna make a motion that you hire this James Downey.
And do you say and cease working with the other attorney too, or is that already done?
I haven't dropped them yet,
Okay,
but I think, yes, we need to
so
drop.
do you wanna
them.
put
Better
that
put the
in?
brakes on
Okay,
quick.
to hire James Downey. And. Should I put fire?
Terminate.
Cease, yeah, terminate, there it
Thank
goes. Cease
What is it,
relations with
foster?
him.
Terminate, foster. I can get the rest of it.
I'll support that motion.
Swift, Collins.
And Stan seconded
Yeah.
that. Goodness.
We got one thing done though with him. That was kind of nice. One big one done. Yeah,
Yeah,
Good hand.
that was kind of exciting.
And I basically drove that.
I was gonna say, I don't think it was really them, but okay. We'll take it.
To hire James Downey and terminate Foster Swift. Second on that?
Stan did.
Yeah, I did.
Christie, yes. Gilman.
Yes.
Berenger.
Yes,
Dudek.
Yes,
Duncan.
Yes.
Carried. That's that. All right. My head's kind of reeling over the whole thing. But, there's been questions from our clerk's office and what lights go to what, and how do we bill them out and such.
Oh, okay,
So I got all this information from our
nice.
local DTE helper guy.
Yeah, because if they have the bill codes,
All right, so
is
here's
that
our,
what? Yeah.
this tells where every light we have is. And the billing code and it's got their number on there and everything, the, the street light number. So you should be able to match these up with any bill number.
Because I think they had these
And
codes
it
next to
and
it,
it
yeah.
also tells what wattage they
Yeah.
are and such.
well, that's good.
Because we have, a couple at the park and ride and a bunch of different
Right.
streets. And then we have some at the park, and so I think that this was very good thing you put
Yeah.
together for us.
I'll be able
Then
to,
Then the map, if you look real close, all these little red dots on there are where we got a light.
let's see.
And I'm not sure they're all red.
Red dots.
Mine-
I don't know.
I
Kim?
can read it.
Yours is really bad.
See the red dots?
Oh, did it not,
At least-
yours didn't come?
I at
through?
least have some roads.
Look at mine.
Yeah, hers is
Mine's
really
blank.
bad. Mine's a
Great.
little bit tan, like a little
Oh,
bit
here,
grayer.
anybody want to-
No.
We're good.
I
I
can't
see.
believe they didn't come out.
I got some
Okay.
roads.
I would say, I hardly see dots.
Sorry, Bruce, you're good.
All right, so
Good enough. We believe you.
anyhow, so there's dots all over here and I'll try and enhance this and get you a better picture and if I can get a better picture of this, I'll email it to everybody. Because this will show where all of our lighting is right now, and then it will help you to think about, do we want to put up any more lighting anywhere? Are there any certain crossroads or certain intersections that we think need to be lit up? We got one here that's a roundabout light, don't we?
We should. I don't know.
The palms?
It was palm, would be palm.
Gratiot and Palm.
Yep,
Yeah.
I see. There's like three, I think. It says right there,
Yeah.
three.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's our roundabout
Yeah.
lights.
Yep.
But that'll help you figure out what department it goes in when you're doing your billing. So that's,
okay.
we're not.
Okay, so all the
nothing to vote on
535s, yeah.
there. Just for your information, think about, if you wanna do any other lighting, or if you wanna get mad about certain lights that are there. And then, you had an election update you wanted to tell
Oh,
us
I just
about?
wanted to tell you guys, so, I'm doing the, municipal agreement with Casco, so I'm gonna have to split the payroll for those 9 days of early voting. But my 4 months of working to get a nonprofit postage permit paid off, because when I mailed out my postcards, I saved over $1,000 in postage by doing that. Yeah,
And-
so,
And Phoebe's working on a nonprofit.
I'm doing it after taxes.
well, she can't, you can get a bulk.
I can get a bulk one.
mail,
Yeah,
that's right.
yep, yep.
Yeah, so I just want
But after
to.
taxes, I'll start working
And
on
then-
it. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just, we're probably gonna be over budget because I have to order all the supplies but I get reimbursed for this primary, but it doesn't show up the way I feel like it should say. Oh, this department gets this money back, but it doesn't. It just comes in as what income.
Right.
Yeah, but I wanted you to know that postage thing really made a huge difference.
Good deal.
You
It
probably
took me
did.
like 10 trips.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, you probably did like $5,000 worth of work on it, though.
It worked.
You worked really hard on it.
Does that have a time frame that it's good for?
I have to use it, what is it, once or twice, once every year? I think you have to do a bulk mailing or once every 2 years. And it was like $310 to get that permit. But now I have that permit and I had a postage a hand postage.
But
stamp.
that's good for,
It doesn't
Yeah,
expire.
that one's
Okay,
good, yeah.
so it doesn't expire as
Oh,
long
it
as they
doesn't
I don't
just.
know if I have to pay a yearly fee on that or not, but it's still, even if that's the case.
It's just for elections. That'll be good.
And then I'll be
We
able
send a lot of junk out.
oh, yeah.
and yeah. and
Especially
then-
now, yeah.
Yeah, like I gotta send out the when the absentee applications go out and.
You had to send them postcards to say that the early voting,
You should have gotten one.
yeah,
Yeah,
We
That
got
was
a ton of them,
that was required by law.
it was I go,
but
this
it was
is,
worded horrible.
yeah.
I had to sit there and like study it for a while and be like, oh, I get
I
it.
go, this is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Well, they did, some cities did testing in November when they had November elections. I went to a meeting, a class on Halloween. And the lady I sat with, there were 3 communities and big ones like Lake Orion, Commerce Township and one other one. And that was, they had already had 4 days of early voting and they had 7 people show up. And when we went to the clerk's meeting, they said the most that they heard feedback from was 9 people coming in 9 days.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna be a bust.
Did you guys do early voting?
Not for November.
Yeah, yeah, I know, it's terrible, and people are so confused now because they, like, I had 2 messages, somebody called tonight, you know, what does this mean? And nobody's gonna go and vote early, because
Yeah.
you wanna put your ballot in, you can come here, you can still get an absentee, you can come the Saturday before the election.
I could vote twice if I went there and here.
Well, here's the thing that really is bothering.
You bring a death certificate, you can vote
Did you
again.
read it?
Yeah,
Read in that one newsletter where before, if you came in to register to vote on election day and you have to have proof of residency, a gas bill, a phone bill, something with your home address. You don't have that. I would have to register you to vote, but you would be a challenged voter. So that would go into a separate envelope. You had 5 days to come back and prove to me that you lived there. Well, now you don't have to do that. You can vote that day and put it through the tabulator. So what if I register to vote in Casco? I don't have any proof of residency per se, but I'm gonna give an address. What's to stop me from going to 10 places?
Yeah.
Because when you put it in the computer, when you're not in that precinct list, you go into an unlisted tab.
So how are they
Which-
gonna connect to each, yeah,
It may be after the election,
Yeah.
they will.
At that point, you're not a voter, you're a mule.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But the thing is, if you really wanted to, you could do that. And if they, even if they caught you afterwards, those votes have already gone through the tabulator. There's no way of getting those back.
Wow.
It's, yeah, it's pretty,
oh,
Isn't it too if an illegal shows up?
well, I hope not.
No, they said illegals, if they show up, they can vote. What's gonna stop it?
Well, if they lied and said they're a resident, you have the paper you fill out says I'm a US resident. Yeah, if they lie and say that, I can't call them out on that. I can't ask for their birth certificate or naturalization or anything. Yeah,
Great.
yep.
Okay, new business, Richmond School 2024 tax collection.
I make a motion to approve collecting the Richmond school tax in the summer, right?
yes.
I'll support.
Yes, Jack,
Yes,
Berenger,
Yes,
Duncan,
Yes.
Yeoman,
Yes.
Harry. That's the bulk of the heavy business. Working on the website. Trying to get the guy information. Joe gave him some information. I don't know what he gave him yet. If anybody has any pictures that they want on there. Send them to me and I'll make sure he gets them.
Are we gonna do pictures of us? You know, like, how you see that?
think we should.
So you know, you do see that.
I think we should.
Just let me know ahead of time, so.
Yeah. I'm thinking, like,
Well,
I don't know.
we do some trial runs. I know, right? We're on our casual.
Yeah. I can only,
I mean, if you do, I'll.
And we can all put a little saying underneath each one of our pictures. You know?
Want me to take
Oh, cool.
no.
No,
I'll come
no,
with a-
I feel like crap right now, no, no.
with your phone with like a statue behind us.
We'll do that at another time.
Good idea.
Idea.
I did want to bring up too, that basement we need.
Okay, got that.
There's a lot of water sitting in that basement.
Where? Here?
Yeah, Mike and Terry went out and looked, and you remember when you said that that pipe goes out to the back there? I don't know if it's coming up from the drain or if it's coming from the sump pump.
Cause I would push it off into that hole that there is, and then water would still be there. It was where the drain was.
And that water's been there
So,
for weeks.
yeah.
It's been there
Okay.
for Weeks.
I don't know, when I did it, like whenever we were cleaning downstairs,
In the basement.
Well,
The sump
maybe,
Does it
goes
go-
out
Hun?
along the edge of the building.
Is that
like in the corner.
What the problem is?
Is that who?
When we put that line,
Yeah,
that
we need to
line
get it- we
used
need
to
to
go out
figure it
where
out.
the brush was back there, there was a little ravine that would bring it to the ditch on the side.
Drain and it's.
When he excavated it and put the septic field in and they brought all that fill in, I said they covered it and made it too deep. There's not enough fall from the outlet of the sump at the end of the PVC out there for it to go this way. So now the pump will just keep running and running and the water goes out. As soon as the sump pump turns off, I don't know if it has a check valve on it, it gushes right back in.
So is that a Tim Kelly thing, or is that like a different type of?
Is it going out?
Yeah, it's going out there, but the dirt's on the end of the pipe and in the summertime it wicks away. Right now, the soil's so saturated that the water's going out that pipe and isn't going through the soil because the water table's so high.
Okay,
So the pump's pushing it out.
so is this something we should
Why,
address?
why wasn't
or-
that approved by the health department correctly? Cause I got my septic done and I had to elevate my,
It's not the septic.
it's not, okay, cause I had to
It's
elevate
the
all
sump
my
from
land.
The basement.
Okay, okay,
It's
never mind
the-
then.
Yeah, the sump line.
Cause I had to do a certain,
A
you
sump-
know, decline with everything on
if-
mine,
If
yeah.
your sump, as long as you're not putting your laundry water in it and it's totally the wicked water from your basement, you can legally put it to a side ditch or to your front ditch. But the minute you put laundry in
You're
there
not doing
or
laundry here.
No, I know, right?
there's,
Take all my clothes downstairs.
but if that's solely in the basement, it's just the wicked water from the basement and from the foundation, it can go get shot out someplace.
So who specializes in sump pump? What is it called for a sump pump person?
It ain't a sump pump issue, it's the
It's-
grade of the soil at
So
the end of the
then-
outlet pipe out there.
Is it coming back in though?
It's like I would swish it and it looks like I didn't do anything. The water would be constantly
We had
in
a-
that drain.
Running nonstop?
Yeah.
Is there a drain in the floor or
Yeah.
the sump pump?
Yeah, there's a
Drain in
couple
the
drains
floor.
in the floor.
So where do those drains in the floor go? Those
I don't
can't
know.
go
It
out.
gets the sump pump in the bottom.
Yeah, they go all the
basement,
way around the outside of the building and they go to the sump pump hole.
That's what I'm saying though. but-
And then the pump lifts it, shoots it out the wall over there, you can see the pipe. And then it has fall, it goes down and then it goes into the
Well,
soil.
Mike
Yeah,
said
but
he
that wouldn't
couldn't
be the
find
drain,
pipe
the drains in the
here.
floor.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
so it's
know
probably
that the
plugged
drains
up.
are full.
Yeah.
You know, like when I swish the
Yeah, the
water,
sump
it's
is
still
full.
And
there.
there's a drain in
Use
the
the sump
floor,
running nonstop.
but that, the water.
It's goes back in that circulator.
To the sump pump.
Yeah,
So.
but that one
Because the
file
outlet
cabinet
won't let it out.
downstairs, I think we should throw out,
I'm not
because
down there. I thought it had-
one
no.
file cabinets down there, the drawers are rusted.
Might be gummed up.
And I opened them because it smelled so moldy, but now you can't shut them.
Yeah, it's just been ongoing. And then even that, because me and Angie were down there when we were getting the papers, even our water system that we spent a lot on. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if we've had it looked at. And since we've had it there, nobody has looked at it since. So I don't even know if it's working. I
the
don't
water's
know.
off here?
Yeah, that water CO2, whatever thing that was that we bought, I don't know. Should we have it yearly maintained? We haven't had anybody look at it too. So I don't know. And we looked at it and it didn't look like it was, it looked
I
like it
don't
was
think
like
it's
an
a
error or
softener, it's a
something.
conditioning, isn't it?
Conditioner, yeah.
So that's another thing too. It's like everything down there, it just kind of falls by the wayside and we need to kind of get stuff looked at before it's, you know, things get worse.
The usage isn't high enough here, that's probably part of it.
I don't know.
But we definitely have to do something about the water. 'cause
Well, we can call the water place that we got.
Okay,
To
I'll
install.
call the water place.
And it's,
Okay,
it's right down in Richmond where the old Dairy Queen used to be across from Kmart Plaza.
Oh, yeah.
right?
yes.
Okay.
I was
I think in that little tiny small building.
I was thinking about.
Yes, that
I'm
little
thinking
building
more
by the
water on
Chinese
floor,
and
we
everything.
have to do something
So-
with
Okay,
it.
so I'll call the
They
water
would be the
place.
one If there's any maintenance that. that's
Okay,
needed.
I'll have them look at, I'll call.
And
Okay.
as far as the other one, I think maybe have Tim Kelly look at it first and see what the issue is.
I'll call Tim tomorrow and
And
ask
then-
him.
And you know.
Who did we have do it again? Cause,
What?
well, no, it's the sump pump. It's not our septic. Never mind. I'm connecting them still. Never mind.
So I'll bet you the problem is that the end of it is plugged up still. From
Yeah.
when they put the dirt there and.
Yeah.
but I
moved it
thought you
around.
guys
Well,
emptied
and
that or
here's my other
something.
thing, if they cut grass.
I think Stan
and they-
dug
I
it
thought,
out.
yeah, I thought you
But-
guys did that.
But since then, we had a bunch of dirt brought in and spread out, right?
Yeah,
Probably buried it.
I'll bet it got buried.
Man.
Is there another way we should do it, you know, cause
Well, Stan maybe ought to go see if he can remember approximately where it was and put a stick there so we could dig around.
That'll be
If
fun.
he could, if he could remember
I can
approximately.
do that at where I think it's closed.
And
You got your waiters?
yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
and the
right.
one on that side too, right?
You're not walking out there
well,
today?
no, there's,
That one's working?
no, there's no pipe going out.
I thought there was one coming off the building for the gutters.
Oh, that, I thought you meant from the end of the sump. over
No,
there.
no, I know that one's over there. But the gutters are hooked into that same pipe, aren't they?
Oh, I hope not.
That's the water coming in the basement.
I thought we didn't have it going, the gutters going into the ground anymore because.
I don't know
Yeah,
how they
but
hooked
that
up.
one,
to
that one that's
Yeah.
out there by the generator, the way he had it going originally, it was shooting onto the parking lot. Remember, we had that solid sheet of ice. So then they cut that and turned it,
So it goes in the rock.
so it goes into the rocks.
but I don't know what they did for
But I
these
don't know what
ones.
they did on the sides and the back, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it goes in those rocks and right down into the basement.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's that. See you later, Miss Cooper. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, I got a question. If the millage renewal can only be used for